country, and everything in between. This is going to be a fun chat. In this episode, we hear inspiring stories of community and their strength in the face of adversity.
We took some instruments to Verandah, and there was a child there who was non-verbal, and he actually spoke.
From those on the ground and the partners that back them,
We couldn't be what we are today without regional Australia.
to the music community who band together to make a difference.
Until we let some of that love out.
It's all about country heart, and for the last session on the veranda, we couldn't finish with a better group of people, I think, to talk about country heart and coming from so different parts of the industry. The beautiful Fanny Lumsden up the end there, and we've got our mates from Toyota and Rural Aid. So this is going to be a fun chat. I love to find out where people come from, because that's really where community stands, where we come from, the people that we hang out with. Fanny Lumsden, tell us about where you live.
Well, grew up on a farm in Western New South Wales, a little place called Talimba. But I live now on a farm on the western side of the Snowy Mountains in a little tiny community called Tooma. So yes, it's a beautiful part of the world. It's a bit black at this point though, it did just burn. But yes, it is a very beautiful part of the world and a great community.
Now, on that, straight up,
Yeah.
we're lucky that you're actually here with us on the veranda, because
Yes.
you were out there fighting fires.
Yes, the last 3 weeks have been pretty wild. And yeah, we've faced a lot of fronts. It was where the mega fire that they called merged was our valley. So yeah, it's been a full-on few weeks. So.
Is it a moment that you can actually sit down now and know you've made it to Tamworth and
Yeah.
relax?
Yeah, we just made it. Last night we actually had to drive through that massive dust storm and lightning storm. So I think, we pushed through and we've made it. Nothing was stopping us getting to Tamworth.
Especially when there's a new album on the horizon.
That's right.
We can talk a bit more about that in a moment. Tracy, whereabouts is home for you?
Home for me is Brisbane, south side of Brisbane, although I don't spend a lot of time there. So I spend a lot of time out on the road, travelling to a lot of different communities. So last year it was quite intense travelling around with drought intensifying. This year will be somewhat different because I'll be focusing on communities. We've got a program called 10 Towns, and I'm going in to help them refresh their community and help them rebuild and put a bit of life back in the community.
When you say the number 10,
10.
and that's it, we can't make that,
Well,
tens,
we
put another zero on that.
We could make it more, but 10 Towns is the focus, and we will look to do other things that are quietly done.
And how do you select those 10?
So last year we did a application process. We invited towns to apply for the funding, so they get $100,000.
That's awesome.
And we go in there with our team of volunteers and have a great time.
And you could just tell you love working with Rural Aid.
I do. I
Yeah.
love it.
It
That's
must
why we
be-
started it.
It's so rewarding.
The people you meet, the places you go, and our country is so beautiful, even when it's as devastated as it is. But it's just a beautiful country. I love it. I love the travel.
All right, Sean, Toyota. Now, whereabouts do you come from?
Oh, well, I reside in Brisbane, so I'm from Queensland, and my infant
I'm feeling,
years-
hang on, I'm glad we're from New South Wales here. 'Cause
Same.
There's always that rivalry, right? Queensland mostly.
Friendly
Yeah,
rivalry.
friendly, yes.
But I resided in my infant years from probably 0 to 10 throughout the 10 years in regional Australia, so in North Queensland and Central Queensland as well, so very small towns. But from year 10 I've resided in Brisbane, but I actually commute, so I work in Melbourne Monday to Friday and I go back home to my family on the weekends.
And as well, you love working with Toyota.
Yeah, I do. I've been with Toyota now 31 years, so I've loved every day of it.
And-
I only regret that I'm getting a little older now and I can't stay forever, right? But yeah,
I don't know. Like the great old
Technology.
Slim Dusty, if you keep doing what you love to do, then
Yeah.
I don't know. Who decides these things?
That's right.
exactly.
It's here to be enjoyed. And I do love that you're here and supporting country music, and from the top end of town to those at the grassroots level. And we crowned a new Star Maker winner this week as well. How do you feel about that, Sean?
Oh, look, it's been such a privilege actually to be here. And the thing I really love about Star Maker is that it's the new generation of potential country singers, but it gives young Australians an opportunity to show their talent, right? So to see all of the 10 participants, the way they prepared, their commitment to country music, I guess the sacrifices that they also make privately. I mean, this is their love. This is what they want to do in their life. And they have to give up quite a bit. And you don't realise it until you actually speak with them and understand some of the hardships they go through to get there. But their love of it seems to overcome any hardships. They don't, that's not a worry for them. They just want to do what they love. And I hope in some ways that Toyota Star Maker gives them that opportunity, right?
Oh, well, we've seen it
Yeah.
time and time again, the success that's coming out of Star Maker and the opportunity they get. Go to Nashville, they go to the studio, they tour the country, they get a flash new car.
Nice car for 12 months. Yeah. But the other thing is that they get a relationship with our organisation as well. And in many respects, you know, they never forget, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I had a look at, as I said to the participants last night, you're in great company here, right? Over the years, when you go back in time, you know, Keith Urban, the Climates, Lee Kernaghan, goes on and on and on, right? So, but also, I think that it gives us, as an organisation, an ability to give back to what is the heart of our organisation. Our brand is what it is today because of regional Australia. Well, you know, when you look at Toyota's history and you look at our success in Australia, it's been built on two fundamental points. One is, of course, we all know the Snowy Hydro Scheme and our participation, and the first imported Land Cruiser was associated with that scheme. But thereafter, it was regional Australia that embraced our vehicles. And it was regional Australia that's made us what we are today. So therefore, we have a sense of commitment in a genuine way to regional Australia, because we are what we are today on the back of what regional Australia has done for Toyota. So therefore, it's incumbent on us for Toyota to do something for the regional community. And Tamworth Music Festival is just but one way that we see of giving back to community, for playing a role in development, whether it be talent, whether it be a sense of community, togetherness. These are all deeply important to our brand. So regional Australia, I always say, regional Australia is Toyota. And Toyota will always recognise that link as an important part of our success, whether it be now, historically, or in the future.
I like the word link because that brings us a nice link to rural aid and the work that you're doing together. So tell us about
Absolutely.
that too, Tracy.
So just as we started the charity, we actually chose Toyota as our brand of car to get about the country in, because it's a solid brand, easy to fix if that was necessary, and I wouldn't be without my Toyota. I feel very comfortable, very safe in my car. I wouldn't be without it. So all of our fleet are Toyotas. And of course our partnership with Toyota, it's been a great opportunity to partner with Toyota because it is such a great brand. Synonymous with the Outback. Everywhere you go, it's just Toyotas. But rural aid, we've done a lot. We started off just delivering bales of hay, asking the country to buy a bale, as it were. On average, we're moving about 20 trucks a week and up to 50, and depending on the time of year and what's happening, the level of drought, because it does shift a little bit. And of course now with fires, we're starting to really get moving with moving those trucks.
Do you still need help from us, the community, to ramp that up?
Absolutely. We need to actually ask people to continue to buy a bale, but we do have a program running now where we're asking people to donate. We're looking to support 10,000 farmers and 100,000, there's up to 100,000 livestock that's been affected. So that's an awful lot.
Isn't it? Yeah.
And that program's kicked off this week. But we also continue with counselling. So our alignment with Toyota is around our counselling program. I found as I got out and about that when I'm talking to farmers, it can be a very emotional situation. You're hearing their stories, you're hearing what's happening, and it's been so heartfelt. It's been it's really been hard for me. Just, I'm not a counsellor, and you have to be very mindful of everyone's situation. They're very different. So having that counsellor on the ground has been really important, a way of connecting with people, and they've got someone there who understands, can help them in a more professional manner. So the counsellors getting out in the cars, the Toyotas, they've got something safe to travel in.
And it must be making our brothers and sisters across the country in these regional, rural areas feel safe. They've got a safe place they can speak what they need to get off their chest, have a heart-to-heart, and know that it's with a safe person, respected.
Right. They are just amazing people in what they do.
Yeah.
I come across an 85-year-old lady, and she lives in New South Wales, and she's still riding horseback, mustering her cattle. She's got tractors, but she prefers to muster on horseback.
Yeah.
You know, some of the stories that come out of it, and how she struggles with her day-to-day activities, it comes out in her poetry. She writes poetry.
Isn't that beautiful?
Beautiful poetry.
These links are beautiful, you guys. And segue about writing then into the music community. Fanny Lumsden, tell us how musos and writers are coming together to help.
I feel like that is a really kind of natural response to when things get tough, is music really does bring people together, and poetry, because I think people connect on so many different levels, and it gives so many different things back. Like, it gives you a place to share these kind of stories that that people are, and like the hardships people are going through, they connect through it because they feel like other people are feeling the same kind of thing. Then also just gives you a chance to have a good time. Like, we put on a tour called the Country Hills Tour, and we've been doing that since 2012. And it started kind of as an accident. We started it before raising money for Blaze Aid, and we were just going to do 3, and I really didn't know what I was doing. I just put on 3 shows in halls in New South Wales, and we're doing currently in our 7th tour, and at the end of this tour we will have played in over 130 halls all over Australia, and they're so fun. So they're a chance for people just to come together. Like, we played just at the end of last year. We've been playing in a lot of drought affected areas, and we've done so many where we've driven to the halls through crazy dust storms, arrived, the hall's in the middle of nowhere, nothing around us, and then all of a sudden there is a lot of Toyotas. I'm not even kidding. And everyone just, like, the hall is alive, and it's so fun. And I just feel like that music is this great thing that pulls everybody together.
People come from nowhere.
Yeah, they do. We played in the, a couple of times we played in this little hall called the Gunbar Hall on the Hay Plains, and we had like just so many people. They couldn't fit in. They were looking through the windows, but everyone just had such a good time. So that kind of stuff happens a lot, and I think it's a tribute to how music can bring people together. And
But you have this music community that you're actually travelling with, because you're not only doing Fanny Lumsden's set, you've got other guests that you're including, and you get local school kids involved too that pop up on your show, and you give that exposure to them, and give money back off into school groups as well, don't you?
Yeah, so I think for me, everything we've ever done has kind of been community up. We're really kind of grassroots based, and we always take other artists with us. It's really fun. It's a big family, and we always get local artists, like you said, and go into the schools or go into like local groups and get them to. We do workshops, or we get them to come and play. And it also just gives them a chance to play on a stage and be part of something bigger. And we always are then in touch with them along the way, and it's been really fun. So.
Now, Fanny, we'd love you to play for us. What are you going to play for us?
All right. I'll play a song called Real Men Don't Cry, or War on Pride, which is it's a song that I wrote a few years ago, obviously growing up in the bush, and I was well aware of this weird phenomenon of not being able to talk about how you really feel and having to put on this brave face all the time, and how that was really often destroying relationships and families, so I don't know, just came out in song, and we released a clip for it as well, and it's just a special song that I think I want to play. There was a time where we bit our lip and we told the lie, and we never let our feelings ruin a face so fine.
Sometime in the 80s, Bob cried and we forgave him. And since then we've been battling that line. So I declare a war on pride, not the decent sort, but the kind that says real men don't cry. Real men don't cry. Oh, I declare a war on pride. It stopped mothers from saying help me, and kids from saying tell me, and brothers from telling their papas how they feel. We only talk about the seasons and our neighbors within reason, but we never ever ask them how they feel. So I declare a war on pride, not the decent sort, but the kind that says real men don't cry. Real men don't cry. I declare a war on pride. 'Cause it's not brave and it's not holy, it just breaks hearts and leaves you lonely, leaves room for you only left to lie. 'Cause it's not brave and it's not holy, it just breaks hearts and leaves you lonely. So I'm gonna break you down until we let some of that love out. So I declare a war on pride, not the decent sort, but the kind that says real men don't cry. Real men don't cry. Oh, I declare a war on pride.
I mean, kids, oh, they melt my heart. And it is so important to keep those minds inspired regardless what the country is going through. And you would see that firsthand out there through the work of Rural Aid and this beautiful project, The Gift of Music. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Absolutely. So Gift of Music is a program we started early in 2014, and we asked Australians to actually donate their musical instruments so we could take them out and gift them to schools so kids would have something to play. A lot of schools don't have the music program, and I can remember when I was a kid I couldn't wait to play music. So we take the musical instruments out, we actually donate them. But along with that, we make it more exciting. So we take Brisbane Youth Orchestra out and they can have a workshop, and then at the end of the day they put on a performance for the whole community. We've also had army bands join us, and it's like a big party. Everyone comes out, the town, and they just join the party, see the look on kids' faces. We even had an incident where we took some instruments to Verandah, and there was a child there who was non-verbal, and he actually spoke
Oh,
as
wow.
part of the whole musical instrument
Experience
performance and experience. It was magical, and it brought everyone to tears
Oh,
because
yeah.
the teachers had been working with this young person for quite some time. So it really brings people out, brings the community out. The kids love it. It just adds another facet to the school programs. And of course, you know, everyone loves music.
Well, anytime you need a couple of country singers,
We're always looking for that. And
Put
it's
our
a
hands
strong
up.
program. It's a very strong program.
How marvellous. Well, music is such a, it's such a collective thing, isn't it? We all have our different spin on favourite music that we love. So, come on, Sean, tell us, what do you love?
Oh gosh, I can go from, you know, Frank Sinatra to Garth Brooks to Lee Kernaghan to Keith Urban to Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
I can go to Deep Purple. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing about what I do have an affinity with country music in Australia. The thing country music in Australia has a unique style, and you know, it has this great ability to tell a story. And it's a story that, as Australians, sometimes only we understand it because it's so unique, but it resonates with Australians. And also, I think this whole notion of music brings about hope is real. And I think we are in a country where we have challenges, right? And they will be ongoing challenges. And I love that word resilience because we are resilient. Regional Australia is extremely resilient. When you think about all of the phases and things that regional Australia's face, whether it be drought, whether it be bushfires, whether it be flooding, and we always bounce back. But one thing I've always noticed in all of these times of need and challenges, there's been a musical story there somewhere that brings about a sense of not only hope, but a sense of community, and it brings us together.
Togetherness.
And I think it also brings out the raw emotion of the types of challenges we face in this country from time to time, but it also brings out the greatness of our country and the greatness of our people who represent this country. So I think in every sense music has a role to play, but I think
it really breaks down boundaries.
It breaks down boundaries,
Yeah.
and it allows for, at times, that raw emotion to come out. It allows for Australians to feel they have permission to have
feel.
they have permission to talk about the things that they're dealing with.
Yeah.
And I think that's deeply important.
Beautifully said. We'd love to hear about your musical loves as well, please, Tracy.
Well, I like Cold Chisel. I have a bit of affinity with Cold Chisel because I grew up in a mining town. And
Which mining town?
Well, actually Newcastle.
Right.
Yeah. And I also have a history of travelling shows. So travelling shows, there was lots of musicians in the early days that started on the showgrounds. Slim Dusty, he's one of my favourites.
Oh, great.
Look, I could, there's Janadelle and there's Chad Morgan, all the really, really old ones. You know, I have great history around that because they'd travelled the shows and played all the different shows.
What Fanny is doing now in the country halls.
Absolutely, exactly the same thing.
We call it a travelling circus.
That's right. Any music. I pretty much like any music.
You must play a bit yourself, I think, Tracy.
Ukulele.
Ukulele? What about you, Sean?
Oh, I don't. I wish
I'm
I could.
attempting.
Well, I reckon with that
Well, I'll
voice you
tell you
could
what I
sing.
did get the other day.
Yes.
I have got sitting in my unit in Melbourne a Fender ukulele. And,
Wow.
and I don't know how to play it. I have no idea how to play it.
That's better
But
than
I'm
mine.
determined
You guys
this
just
year to
collab
learn
together.
it. I'm determined this year to at least get, if I get 20 seconds of something out,
Great.
I'd feel famous.
Yeah, great.
I can do about that. Have a
that's
little
awesome.
play.
I
But
wonder,
yes.
is it red or something?
Yeah.
Has it got a
So-
colour?
No, you know what? No, I haven't, well,
Classy.
it's classy.
It's classy. It's got
Yes.
Definitely
Fender,
classy.
look out.
It's certainly got the brand, but
Fancy.
I just want to be able to play for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Just something.
We can
can
help
do
you
20.
out there,
I
yeah.
can
I
do
feel like
20.
you're in the right place to sort that out.
And Fanny, what about your musical loves?
Very broad. Grew up with classical music, country music from my dad, old school country music. But I think touring around and getting like my peers to tour with me, I just fallen in love with all of their songs. So we have artists like Melody Moko and Jenny Mitchell and the Montgomery Church and all these beautiful bands that and so I actually listen to them a lot, which has been really great. And then when I get to play with them, you know all the words, so it's good.
I think it'd be lovely to wrap up on everybody's spin on what community is. If you could kind of wrap it up, what community means to you or is to you in a couple of sentences, and we'll start with you, Sean.
Security with togetherness.
Wow, you've done that before.
Actually, I just made that up.
Wow.
But that's what it represents to me. Community represents security by being together.
Tracy?
I like together. And it's about mates helping mates, being connected. I think that's one of the most important things at this time, for sure.
I think it's also strangers helping strangers. Like, I think that it's, you know, who become mates helping mates. It's just having, it might not even originally be a common goal, but people coming together for a greater kind of good for everybody in general, rather than specifically themselves. So.
Well, you've all come together today for a lovely moment on the veranda. I've had a great time, and it is all about country heart, and we feel it here. It's like a big hug. Thank you to Toyota for everything that you do for the health.
Thank you to rural Australia. And to everyone in Australia, I've one request. Invest in Australian music. It's worth the investment.
That's a great takeaway, and
Couldn't
buy a
agree
bale and and buy Fanny Lumsden's new album. When's that coming out, Fanny?
March 13. It's called Fellow. Yes.
Can't wait to have that and have you in the studio. It's been fun. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching The Veranda. For more videos, click here or subscribe to the Toyota Australia YouTube channel by clicking here.